Hi, I'm the Woodpecker this time. I'm inviting you to visit my cottage. Going to the cottage is an adventure in itself. I have to have more than a weekend if I'm going to enjoy myself. The trip begins with an hour and a half on the highway, followed by another hour and a half on the country roads. At least the view is better here than from the highway. I finally arrive at the dirt road, and I still have 2 hours to go. It didn't rain for several days, so the cars in front of me churned up a lot of dust. I always try to pass them to get out of the cloud. The state of this road goes from bad to worse. After 5 hours of driving, we arrive at the dépanneur / skidoo relay / boat parking lot. Here's my boat. I need to inflate both trailers' tires each time I use it. I hook it up to the truck, and off we go to the beach. I use the makeshift boat ramp. I transfer all the stuff we brought for the week to the boat, and we're on our way. After a while, we finally get there. We just need to climb up the small hill, and there it is. From the outside, it looks pretty normal. But you need to know that it's been built with at least 9% recycled lumber. My good friend Daniel and I have recycled 2 barns. Here, we are on the roof of the biggest one. It was huge, measuring 97 by 54 feet. The exterior is covered with the planks of the smaller barns because they look better. Each window had its own shutter, so if a tree falls, it can break the window and make a mess. The frame of the cottage is made of 8 by 12 beams. Each end is supported with basement jacks. We dug 11 4-foot deep holes. Then we pour the footing and we put the jacks inside sonotubes. The porch is made from the biggest barn's rafters. Near one of the stairs, you can see the fishing rod stand. The roof is made from the barn's middle roof. We put in a lot of screws, each existing hole receiving a new one. It's time to visit the interior. It's quite dark in here with all the trees around, and the walls made of red pine. I have 4 ceiling beams. They're all 9 by 6 by 20 feet long. They're made of cedar and red pine, and they're supported by some 12 by 12s. They were cut with an axe only on 3 sides. 6 by 9s keep all 4 frames together. Every joint is a mortise and tenon. The rafters are just 6 by 8s. They're held together with 3 by 6s. In the back, I made a mezzanine with a tree that I cut using a chainsaw. I made 3-inch thick planks, and they're sitting on top of the beams. To go upstairs, I built the hinge stairway. At my home, I welded and designed this hinge. To avoid surprises, I drew it with a 3D program. I had to draw the cottage also to see how the stairs would look like. I took the opportunity to make a 3D animation. I really like this version of my cottage because there's less junk lying around. That's the view from the top of the stairs. There are several trunks and 2 bunk beds. Last year, I put a hardwood floor on top of the planks, which were very uneven. That reinforced the floor and got rid of some extra hardwood flooring. Now the floor is straight and looks good. There's another bunk bed near the fridge. On top of it, I made a small cabinet with an old ramp and some aromatic cedar that I rescued from the garbage truck. As nostalgia, I kept this cart from the big barn. It was used to carry the hay around on a system of rails. Now it supports the gas lamps that I keep just in case. Several years ago, I started to produce my own electricity. I turn it on with an old car alarm system from the inside of the cottage. For heat, I have a wood stove with a wall made of half rock. Yes, half rocks, which I made from cutting some rocks in half and gluing them to an asbestos sheet. You can see it right now. To have the time and temperature, I made a thermometer that I hung on the wall. Outside, I have several sheds. Here's the water shed. Inside we can find the water pump and the well that I dug 10 years ago. The top of the reservoir is removable, and you can see the 4 lemon barrels screwed together to make the walls of the well. I also keep my old washing machine there. I use it whenever I come for more than a week. Outside the shed, there's a sink that I use to clean the fish I catch. It's obvious why I changed this faucet from my kitchen. Using the well, I fill up 2 water barrels on the ground and 1 on the roof of the cottage. I use them only if I need water during the fall. I also collect rainwater to fill up another barrel that I use to wash my clothes. Near the cottage, I have an outdoor shower. Taking a shower outside is really different, especially when it's minus 14 out. But in that case, it's a little less enjoyable. There's also the woodshed. The logs are hard to see underneath all that cardboard. It would be hard to live here for several weeks without a baghouse. I also built a cedar table to eat outside on the patio. Speaking of patio, I guess you've noticed that it's all made of concrete. It's cleaner and easier to maintain. I also made my boardwalk out of concrete. I don't know why, but I love making concrete, and it lasts forever. Unlike my old boardwalk, which was made of wood. It was awful. One summer, I enlisted the entire family, and together, we redid the boardwalk in concrete. This one will last for a long time. On the other branch of the boardwalk, there is my main shed. Inside, I have my own electrical system, which includes a big 12-volt battery, an inverter to generate the 120-volt AC, and the electrical panel that I made. It looks way better and is much safer than my old one, made out of wood with several analog meters. It's lying around in one corner of the shed. On my new panel, I have a keypad which selects the options that I need to see on the LCD display. Choices like testing the load lamps, which put a load on the battery. The first row of LEDs show the 5 inputs of current that charge the battery. 2 of them are for the solar panels, 1 is for the windmill, and finally, the last 2 are used when the generator is running. There are also 3 other displays, 1 for the battery voltage and the charge or discharge current, another one gives the speed of the wind, and finally the last one I can program to suit my needs. Now, it's showing the temperature and the time. But what impresses me again is the interior. There are 8 circuit boards on top of the control relay and the big 12-volt wires. Let's take a closer look. Everything is controlled by this big board, which is the brain of the electrical panel. I keep statistics when I'm not there. They're stored in this MMC memory card. I can also control the brain with a USB port. I made a program that speaks to the brain, and I can see the status directly inside my cottage. In the shed, there's a small workbench and a lot of storage space. I need that because the hardware store is far away. 4 hours of driving on bad road and $70 worth of gas. Here, I need to be able to improvise and I have a lot of choices. I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's say I want to drill a hole. I can use this electric drill or my old modified battery-operated drill, which now works on a standard 12-volt battery. Or I can simply do it by hand. Here's another example. I pump my water with this pump. I have another one for backup with several spare parts. I also have an old pool pump, though I'm not sure if this can pump from the well. I've never used it. I also can use a good old hand pump, but it will take me a long time to fill up a barrel. So I modified a bicycle that I picked up in the trash to be able to pump water with the help of another pump. Though, it's easier to hook this pump to my old lawnmower motor, which I coupled with an old angle grinder that engages the pump. As you can see, I have several alternatives to pump water. I also installed an old TV tower that I put inside a hole filled with concrete, so it can support both my solar panels and the windmill. This way, the sun always hits the panels, and the windmill is higher than the tallest tree. You can see here the windmill and the 2 solar panels, as well as one of my 2 working platforms. They are really useful when I need to work high on the tower. I use them a lot when I install everything. That was a visit to my little haven, also known as the cottage. It allows me to escape the daily madness and to do a little fishing and hunting as well. By the way, this is the view from my dock. Remember that everything you saw here was brought over by boat. Thank you for watching, and see you next time for another episode of the Woodpecker.